Sister Rana, you have a discussion with Bhante, is it? On the task?
Now we are on live on Facebook already.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Already live, huh?
Yes.
Does it work? It does.
Okay. So we are on live now.
Yeah. Can we start now? Sister?
Yeah. Go ahead, Sister Aliana.
All right.
Ellen, you can stop sharing.
A very good meeting to all Kalyanamitas. My name is Aliana, and on behalf of Ti-Ratana Aman Perdana clan, will be the moderator for tonight's Sutta discussion. Now, I would like to introduce about Ti-Ratana Buddhist Society. Ti-Ratana was founded in 1994 and established later in 1999 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia by the Venerable Chief Reverend Datuk K. Sri Dhammaratana. And tonight, with the blessing from the Chief Reverend, Ti-Ratana Aman Perdana would like to present the Sutta discussion via Zoom and Facebook with number 1 topic, Mangala Sutta by Venerable Dr. Gangodawila Chandima, the Senior Advisor of Patisotta, Canada. Patisotta is a viral Dharma organization that helps beginner and expert students in learning the Dharma in a variety of ways. You can check on Patisotta with the link www.patisotta.blogspot.com. Many people are interested in Dharma Pariyesana, Patisotta's most acclaimed interview series, which Bhante conducts on a regular basis. In 2015, Bhante Dr. Chandima earned a PhD in Buddhist Studies from University of Sri Jayewardenepura in Sri Lanka. From 2012 to 2016, Bhante served as Theravada Buddhist chaplain in University of British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada. And in 2016, Bhante was a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society of the University of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Without further ado, brother and sister, Ti-Ratana Vihara Aman Perdana Analit would like to present Bhante Dr. Chandima. Welcome, Bhante, and thank you very much for the talk. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening, Bhante.
Yeah, so welcome to the Sutta discussion. I think this is a brand new Sutta discussion series that the Ti-Ratana Center has organized, and I'm really happy to conduct this. And as you may have seen that we have a number of suttas that need to be discussed over the time. But in today's discussion, we will be starting with getting to know each other first, and then we'll give you the precepts and then start the discussion. Anybody wants to self-introduce oneself? I know the organizers here. Aliana?
Good evening, Bhante.
Say your name and what you...
Yeah, I'm Aliana from Ti-Ratana Aman Perdana clan. Nice to meet you, Bhante.
Nice to meet you.
My name is Hemahi, and I'm supporting this Ti-Ratana Vihara projects here. Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Hema.
Good evening, Bhante. I'm Brother Teo, the president of TRV Aman Perdana Clan. It's nice to see you and nice to hear from you, Bhante. It is really a
I think I
privilege.
have met you before, I guess. Have I met you before?
I think only once, Bhante.
Once, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to thank on behalf of TRV Clan that we have the privilege to have you tonight to give us a series of Dhamma Sutta discussion. Thank you so much, Bhante. Thank you.
Good to see you again.
I would like to add a bit, Bhante. Just now I've forgotten to mention that tonight Sutta discussion is sponsored by Brother Teo and family.
Yeah, I think I got that message, Adiana. I think so. Yeah, thank you for reminding me again. Yeah. Yeah, who is next?
Good evening, Bhante. I'm Sister Teo. I've been with Reverend Sada since the very beginning when he came to Malaysia.
Oh, great. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I think I've met you before as well in TRV in one of the Vesak.
Then I would tell you how good to see you. Okay.
Hi, Bhante. I'm Brother Lin. I'm the secretary of the TRV Aman Perdana. Okay, so nice to meet you, Bhante.
Nice to meet you. I think I heard that you are doing some of the organizing things behind this sort of discussion. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
And nice to meet you. Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hi, I'm Crystal. I'm a great supporter of a Dhamma talk, and I have a privilege to join this group. Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Crystal. We have a couple more here. I can see. Yeah.
Good evening, Bhante. I'm Doreen. I'm new to Sutta discussion. I like to join to learn more.
Great. Everybody wants to learn more. I think they want to develop. They want to learn new. Yeah. Nice to meet you. Okay. Yeah.
Good evening, Bhante. I'm Patricia.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm interested to join this class as what Doreen said to gain more knowledge on the suttas.
Great. Nice to meet you, Patricia. Yeah, I think the others are not on video, but anybody wants to self-introduce on audio, that's fine too. Oh, there's one. I think you have to unmute your mic, I guess.
Hi, Bhante. I'm Rina Lee. I'm a novice and I hold no position in any Buddhist societies. And 2 years ago, before the COVID, we used to attend Sutta class earlier was once a week. Then the teacher was not feeling well. Then it became twice a week. And after the COVID situation, there is no more Sutta class. And currently, I'm following a few talks, mainly on Abhidhamma. And yeah, but I find it very tough. That's why I got to follow a few teachers in 1 week, so as to catch up. And I was formerly a Dhamma teacher teaching standard 1 children for about 16 years. And just take a break this year because of too many Abhidhamma classes. And I also want to go for self-improvement.
Great, nice to meet you, Renali. And I hope that we will add some Abhidhamma later, not today. Some of the Abhidhamma things in pretty simple English, not like deep. Yeah. Yeah, how about the others?
Hello, Bhante. I'm Sister Evelyn. Quite new to Sutta, and I'm still a Sunday school at SJBA.
Are you a Sunday school teacher or?
Yeah, Sunday school teacher. Been there since I think more than 12 years.
Oh, great.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Who else?
Hello, Bhante. Hello, Bhante. I'm Brother Chan Wai Hong. Can you hear me? I also quite new to the suttas. Before that, I was more on practicing meditation.
Okay.
Anapanasati and Vipassana.
Yeah. Doesn't need to worry about it because all the meditations come from Sutta teaching. So, anyways, welcome to the Sutta discussion. Nice to meet you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. And we have two more. You wanted to self-introduce?
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
My name is Zita. Actually, I'm come from Indonesia. In 2019, I came in Kuala Lumpur with my mother for my graduation in KL. And then I came to Buddhist Mahaviara and meet Bhante Dhammaratana. And then after that, I learned about TRV and start following the Sutta class since the last period with Bhante Vinita. And I'm very pleased to meet you. I hope to learn more about Dhamma and Sutta with Bhante Chandima. Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Sita. Hopefully, we will navigate you in the discussion. Yeah. Okay, one more here. Okay, if there is no response, we're going to be starting off the discussion now. Yeah, so I'm very happy to do this, as I mentioned earlier. So I probably know that you've been studying suttas. Some of you have been studying suttas in the past couple of months, probably on and off. So the purpose of sutta discussion is to learn the Dhamma, especially based on a particular sutta, plus to apply the sutta, textual based teachings into our life. So you always have opportunities to ask questions, discuss. You may have, you don't need to agree with the things all the time. You can question. That doesn't mean that the Dhamma is wrong or not, right? So we have to learn. We have to explore the teachings. That is how we can understand these ancient teachings with the contemporary life. Because the teachings were actually given 6 BCE. So we have to take the essence of the teachings, not just the cultural background. So probably some of the things are okay with us, but some might not be okay. So that's pretty much a basic thing to remind at the beginning. So let's get into the sutta now. I think you all got the link, which I sent to you on WhatsApp group. Mangala Sutta. So the reason why I chose the Mangala Sutta was that it's very, very popular kind of a sutta. And when you listen to a chanting, like monks, they chant this sutta at the beginning. But for many of the devotees, people, they don't understand the sutta actually from a I would say textual point of view. They just listen to it as a way of getting the blessings, right? So we wanted to see the background of the sutta at the same time to go over, the textual points of views and then pretty much the overview of the sutta. I think I can sort of share the screen if that is okay with you. Let's see. I think everybody can see this, right?
Yes.
Okay, I have a question at this point. Anybody knows the meaning of Mangala? What does Mangala mean?
Blessings.
Yeah, say it again, please.
Blessings.
Blessings. Okay. Any other meaning? You can see the meanings given here, right? But I mean, probably your own meanings that you can see.
Gifts.
Say it again, please.
Gifts. Blessings, gifts. A
You
good
mean
gift.
gift? You mean gift, G-I-F-T?
Yeah, I've seen somewhere they mentioned 38 gifts.
Okay.
I don't know.
So gifts, blessings, what else?
Yeah.
Any other meanings?
Good
that you
omen.
have? Sorry? Omens? Omen. Probably some might say that I have to see Mangala every day, right? So it could be an omen, right? So we have a kind of a deeper word called prognostication, right? Remember what Prince Siddhartha saw just before he left the house? We call them 4 things that were seen to him, right? So they were kind of 4 omens. But anyways, the popular meaning for Mangala is blessing, right? So according to the Sutta, there are 38 blessings, okay? But before that, let's see the background story of this Sutta, right? So what was the background story of this Sutta? Anybody knows that how this was started? And there was a discussion going on among people. What was Mangala like? Some people said that it is something that they can see. This is a Mangala. Let's say a blessing is something that they can see. That is what they thought. We call it Ditta Mangala. Let me write it here in the chat so you can see that. Ditta Mangala. Okay, did you get it? So Ditta Mangala means some thought Mangala is only, blessing is something that they only can see, not anything else. Only by seeing they can feel the blessing. Do we have such Mangala blessings, Dhamma folks, already? Do we say that in our life? We normally say, okay, by seeing you today, it made me feel so good. It's a blessing for me to see you today, right? We normally say that, right? Not about everybody. We have some sort of like friends, family, good people who give us good vibes, right? We say, oh, it's such a blessing to see you today. What are the other things that we may say about blessings by seeing in our life? Are there any other objects that we see to say that I saw a Mangala? Or blessing?
The blessing of the Sangha, seeing the Sangha present.
Seeing the Sangha is a blessing. Actually, it is one of the blessings in this Sutta, Mangala Sutta, somewhere in the Mangala Sutta. But the people call the Mangala only come from seeing some people or things. That is the problem. Although we see this loosely in the Sutta, differently here and there, but these people, they decided Mangala is only something that we can see. Okay, that's the problem. So they said Mangala is something which we only can see. So that's called Ditta Mangala. Some other people oppose this idea. They said Mangala is something. Mangala is something. There's a phone going on. Okay. Some other people said Mangala is something that we can only hear, right? Are there such Mangala in our life? Can you give me an example?
Listening to the Dhamma.
Listening to the Dhamma, you hear. What are the other blessings that we can hear?
Chanting.
Chanting. Let's start from our home. Blessings of our parents, when we respect them, they're gonna say, may you be well and happy, may my children be well and happy. The greatest blessings that we can have from our home, right? And then we can go into different lands, I would say temples, religious places, spiritual places. So in that context, there are so many Mangala factors that we can see, we can consider that we get through hearing. So they call that to be Sutta Mangala. Okay. Sutta Mangala. So some other people thought it is neither by seeing nor hearing that we can have Mangala. It is only by thinking some sort of stuff that we can have blessings. We call it Mutta Mangala. How different are these people at that time? So many different thinking. Mutta Mangala means there were people who thought it is neither by seeing people or things, nor hearing different people's sounds or whatever the things that we can have blessings, but it is only by thinking some sort of thoughts, some sort of, I would say, mental things that we can have the blessings. We call it Mutta Mangala. So there's a very complicated understanding about what Mangala were like at that time. So this even actually went down to the Devas at that time. So Devas also were highly confused about what Mangala is or what Mangala are, blessings are. So what happened? They informed this to the head god, head deity. Who is it called? Who is it called? Who is the head deity in Buddhism? Head Deva. We call him as the chief Deva.
Is it Saka? Saka? Saka.
Saka. But Saka is not, I would say, apparently the highest Deva in heaven, because we have 6 heavens, right? We have Chatu Maharajika, Yama, Tavatinsa, then what else? Chatu Maharajika, Yama, Tavatinsa, Tusita, Nimmana Rati, Paramita Vasavati. So we have 6 heavens. So if there are 6 heavens, why the head Deva in the 3rd heaven is considered to be the head god? That's a question, but there is a clear answer to that. Now the highest Deva worlds, I would say, Nimmana Rati and Paramita Vasavati, which have a huge, I would say, incalculable time of living of such a Devas. Those 2 Deva realms are owned by another Mara, actually. There's a Mara, the Mara concept. We don't call it like a Satan. Mara has a couple people. Mara concept has different Maras. Now, this Mara is called Devaputta Mara. Devaputta Mara is the person who is enjoying the highest benefits of the Deva realms. That's why we don't call people, hey, do not expect to be reborn in a heaven, because it's owned by another Mara over there, right? But there are people who are going to be reborn in heavens, right? But that's why we don't take the last 2 heavens. Nimmana Rati, Paranimita Vasavati, they have the huge comfort, luxuries. But the Deva world that is before the last 2, we call it Tusita. That's a good place, especially for the Bodhisattvas. The Bodhisattvas, they are going to be reborn in that place just before they're going to be reborn as the Buddha, going to have the final life in this Tusita heaven. But then before Tusita, we can see there is this heaven called Tavatinsa. Now, Tavatinsa is pretty much kind of a Buddhist, kind of more towards the Buddhist kind of heaven. So the head god in that Tavatinsa heaven is Sakka. Sakka is getting changed. There's no Sakka that is always there. Sakka is a position. Now, probably some might think that Sakka is the Sakka for long. I mean, forever, there is somebody who is going to be Sakka. No, there is a certain lifespan for each Sakka. It's like a position, I would say, designation. So anyways, at that time, these Devas, they inform Sakka that there's a huge confusion about what Mangala to be. So could you please explain to us what Mangala is all about? He said, I don't know, either. Then it's better that I send one of the deities they was to Savatthi, where the Buddha was staying, and then to approach the Buddha and then to ask from him. Now, this was the background story. This Mangala Sutta. And then the Deva actually approached the Buddha, in one night, and then he asked the Buddha what Mangala is or what Mangala are. So that's the background. So any questions so far before we jump into the sutta? Have you ever heard about this story before? Oh, you know that. Great. Any questions about the story and the background thing? No. Okay. If there are no questions, then let's get into the sutta. Okay, I would like every one of you reads the sutta at a certain point. Is that a good idea? So you will learn Pali as well, right? And I will explain each, I would say each sentence, or probably word, depending on the meaning. Who wants to read this sutta? Probably the first four. Can you go to introduction part? This is going to be page number 5 in that PDF, Introduction Maṅgala Sutta, Evam Me Sutta. Who wants to read the sutta? Yeah, we want to hear though, actually. It's not like you reading by muting your voice. Aliana, you want to give a try?
Sorry, Bhante, I didn't hear the question.
Would you like to read the sutta, like a little bit of the first part?
All right, Bhante.
Yeah.
Ewang me sutang, ekam samayam bhagawa, sawatiyam viharati jetawane, anata pindika sad arame.
All right. Okay. We'll go there, yeah? Evam me sutta. Now, we have to understand the sutta has not been started from at this point, actually. The real sutta starts from Asevanacha Bala, call it, the stanza number 2, verse number 2. Before that, it's the background story. Probably this is how it was recited in the first convocation, first council, the Sanghayana, right? In the first Sanghayana, there were monks, senior monks, who were reporting what happened with the sutta, each sutta. So, Evam me sutang. So, somebody is saying that I heard this way. Evam me sutang. Evam means this way or thus. Me sutang. It's in the passive voice. Have I heard? So, I have heard this way. Ekam samayam bhagava. Bhagava. Why do many suttas not mention the word called Buddha? Why they take Bhagava instead of Buddha? Any thoughts? Now we have a lot of words to call the Buddha. Buddha, Bhagava, Tathagata. What else? These are the very famous terms. But why do many people use the word Buddha instead of Bhagava? Why do we see Bhagava and Tathagata, get used in most of the suttas? Why Buddha is used in very few places, in many suttas? Any wild guess? See. I want you to be curious more than you thought if we jump into the depth of the suttas.
Could it be because they're all from different culture, but embracing the same Buddhist teaching?
Are you Rina?
No, Amy Hui here. I mean, you raise a very interesting questions, and I'm actually curious as well. Yeah, I know Buddha as Buddha itself from a very beginning, but then as I go deeper, there are so many terms that refer to Buddha. So I suppose because the Buddhist teaching is so wide that they came from all different customs. So each one has its own term that refer to the same entity. So that's how I could relate that.
Okay, that's a good thought, actually. It's culturally driven, mentality to use the words. That's one idea. Any other thoughts about why do we see Bhagava or Tathagata instead of Buddha in many suttas? Why is it? If you take bunch of suttas, you could see Bhagava, Tathagata, to call the Buddha instead of Buddha. But in our normal use, our practice, we always call the Buddha, Buddha, Buddha. Why? Why it's not in here?
Bhante, is it the lay people always refer as Buddha and Bhagawa is among the Sangha? I'm not sure.
I mean, I appreciate thought. Yeah.
Is it the
But
same
there may be
word
different
as,
thoughts.
the
Bhante,
Bhagavad,
can
is
I
it the
try? Blessed one?
Yeah, that's the English meaning. I mean, I'm wondering about the Pali word.
Oh.
The Pali word here is the Buddha, Bhagava, right? Or in other places you can see Tathagata, especially in some of the deeper suttas like Dhammacakkappavattana, Tathagata. So why do we not see Buddha to call the teacher of us, especially in these suttas? Let me tell you.
Bhagavan, is it the same word as the Itipiso Bhagawa?
Itipiso Bhagava. There also we see Bhagava. And there in that statement, we see Buddha as a virtue of the Bhagava. Right? Itipiso Bhagava Arahan Samma Sambuddho Vijjacharana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purushadhamma Sarthi Satta Demanasa Buddho Bhagava. Right? So Buddha Bhagava have been given as different virtues to the Buddha. Why is it? Now the word Buddha, the term Buddha is used to identify all the enlightened individuals. That's the reason. Now you call it the Samma Sambuddha. That's the fully enlightened Buddha, one of the 28 Buddhas. And then we have the Pacceka Buddhas, call them, there are different translations, private Buddhists or whatever. And there is the word called Arahanta Buddha. Arahanta Buddha means somebody who attains the normal, who attains the enlightenment is also called as Buddha. So Buddha is a very common term to all the individuals who attain the enlightenment or awakening. So when you say Bhagava or Tathagata, it is only for the Samma Sambuddha. That's the reason. Make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's only for one of the 28 Buddhas. So Bhagava and Tathagatas are only used for the Samma Sambuddhas. That's why you don't see the Buddha, especially in this kind of context. Ekang Samayang Bhagava. So Ekang Samayang means on one occasion or at one time, right? Samaya means time. Bhagava, the blessed one. Savatyam Viharati. Now this is about the place. Savatti. What is Savatti? Savatti is a city, right? Right. Savatti is a city. Anybody can think about the state of the Savatti? There are 4 famous Republican states that we know in India at that time. Magadha, Kosala, Vatsa, Avanti, right? So Magadha has Rajagaha, where the Buddha received his first temple called Veluvanarama, right? And then what could be the Savatthi then? Savatthi should be located in, should it be in the Magadha or Kosala? Interesting question, right? So this Savatthi should be in the Republic state called Kosala. That's our guess. So you have to do your own research. Should be in the Kosala, Republican state called Kosala. And there is a specific temple here given in the Sutta, Jetavane Anathapindika Sarami. Now, Jetavane Arami. Jetavana means the name of the temple. And Anathapindika means the person who built this particular temple. Then how does the name Jetavana came here? Actually, the land was belonged to a royal prince called Jeta. So the great donor, his actual name is Sudatta, not Anathapindika. Sudatta. So Sudatta, he had to buy the land from Jeta prince for 18 crores. This is what I heard actually, 18 crores. How do you call it in millions and millions, especially? This is kind of an Indian way of saying crores, 18 crores. Then what happened, though he bought the land from the Prince Jeta for 18 crores, so he had to construct different things, I would say buildings in the land. So he had to use another 18 crores. So now it's going to be, how much is that? 36 crores he had to use for buying the land and then to build the different things, buildings in the land. Not even that, he had to spend another 18 crores for the infrastructure of the temple, probably some of the ponds and other stuff. So for the temple, he spent 54 crores of money at that time. It's a lot of money. So the name Jeta came from the person who owned the land, and the name Anathapindika came as a name that was given to the Sudatta, because Sudatta was a very generous banker. So he, I would say, he donated money, food to people every day. So people call him Anathapindika. So he's particularly generous about giving things to people who don't have stuff. I would say homeless people don't have basic stuff, right? So Anatha means those hopeless people. I mean, I would say those of people who don't have basic needs. Pinda means food, right? So at that time there was a thing going on between the monks, because King Kosala offered dana every day to monks, and Anathapindika also offered dana to monks on a daily basis. But monks like going to Anathapindika's house instead of the king's house. Interesting, right? The reason was that when they went to the king's palace, King Kosala's palace, he did not come and offer food with his own hand. He normally asked servant, hey, you go offer to that monk, you go offer to this monk. He was like commanding, to his servants, and he never comes and offered food. He just like, he's a king or whatever. That's his mentality. But Anathapindika, when the monks went to Anathapindika's place, the banker Anathapindika, he came to each monk and then offered dana. So monks like that. So there was a thing going on like that, kind of a background story. Anyways, now the monk who is telling this in the first council said that, I have heard this way. One time, Bhagava, the Blessed One, was staying in the monastery of Jetavana, which was actually built by the banker called Anatha Pinnacle. Okay, who's going to read the next? Anybody wants to read the next?
Abhinkataya Ratiya Abhikanta Wana Kevala Kampam Jetawanam Obasetwa Yena Bhagawa Tenu Pasan Kami Upasan Kami Wa Bhagawantam Abhiwa Dewa Dekwa Ekamantam Atasi Eka Mantam Tita Kosa Devata Bhagawantam Gataya Ajabatsi.
Great. Yeah.
Thank you.
So when we read the Pali, now this is one other challenge that we have to cope up with, especially in our Sutta class. We don't just get stuck with the literal meaning or literal sayings here. We want to be able to read Pali as much as we can, and at the same time to learn what the whole idea is talking about. So understanding the whole idea is the main. So don't get stuck with the grammar in the first place, right? Like learning English with the grammar in the first place and not being able to speak English. This is what happened to man. So then our main emphasis is to learn the whole idea. But at the same time, we want to improve the reading of Pali. Now here we can understand what happened after the Deva, right? How did the Deva approach the Bhagava? Let's see. Atha ho anyatara Deva. What is Atha? Atha means, what is Atha? You can see the word down there. Then at that time, Atha anyatara Deva. Devata. Anyatara, a certain Deva. We don't know which Deva was that. A certain Deva. Anyatara Devata. Abhikantaya Ratya, Abhikanta. These words have to understand differently because Ratya Abhikantaya Abhikanta. Now Abhikantaya Ratya. Ratya means night. Now we know how did the Buddha spend his time, right? He has a fully booked time from 4 a.m. to 3 a.m., right? He has a morning session from 4 a.m. to 12 p.m. That is morning session. Normally, I mean, it's kind of a guess. And he has an afternoon session from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then the 3 watches start. First watch, middle watch, last watch. So his first watch starts from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And the middle watch starts from 10 p.m. Until 2 a.m. This is the time the Devas approach the Buddha, from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. And his last watch starts from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m., where he does a little bit of walking meditation, and then from 3 to 4 a.m. he sleeps. So, I mean, this is how we know. I mean, this could be different in some other places, but this is what we know. Now, Ratya Abhikantaya means, now, when the night was far spent, that means in the first, in the middle watch of the night, from somewhere between 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. That's the time the Deva approached the Buddha. Now, Abhikantaya means when it was gone, right? So it is not in the first watch, because the first watch of the night starts from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's in the middle. So that means after some time of the night. After some time the night was kind of spent. Abhikanta Vanna. Abhikanta Vanna means, now Vanna is the color. Now here we could say splendor. So Abhikanta means surpassing, exceeding splendor, right? So the Devas have a surpassing splendor. Can we see the Deva or can we see the Deva's splendor, Dhamma folks? Have you ever given some thoughts to find out what the color is of Devas like? Anybody thought that way? How can we see Devas according to the text?
Luminous?
Have you ever seen the Deva?
No. Imagine, visualize.
Imagining, visualizing.
Radiant.
Yeah, this is what we see: radiant, surpassing, splendorous, magnanimous, all those kind of big words, right? It is said in the suttas, only by attaining the second jhana, we can see the Deva. Second jhana, after practicing samatha meditation, you get 4 jhanas: first, second, third, fourth. But these jhanas are temporary. That's why the Buddha said, hey, you have to practice samatha a little bit, then switch to the vipassana. Don't get stuck in the samatha. But start with samatha. It's easy for us to start with samatha, not vipassana. But if you make sure that you have the second jhana, then you can see the Devas. Funny enough, it is said that humans cannot see the Devas until they attain the second jhana. Also, Devas cannot see the Brahmas. You know, after the heavens, we have another higher Devas called Brahmas. How many Brahmas are there? There are millions of Brahmas. But how many Brahma realms are there? Huh? Just 4 Brahma realms, Aliana? There are 20 Brahma worlds, 16 material Brahma worlds, and 4 immaterial Brahma worlds. So 20. Now, the thing is, Devas, just as we cannot see the Devas, Devas cannot see the Brahmas. Interesting, huh? Brahmas are more powerful than the Devas. And instead of thinking about to be a Deva, think about to be a Brahma, right? It is said when the Buddha went to Tavatinsa to preach the Abhidhamma. I think that we found somebody here who is learning Abhidhamma, right? Who is that? Who's that? Somebody up. Abhidhamma. Now, when the Buddha went to Tavatinsa to teach Abhidhamma to Deva, yeah, the Brahmas also came to learn the Abhidhamma, right? But Devas could not see any of the Brahmas who were there. Interesting, because through the eyes of Devas, they cannot see the Brahmas. Brahmas are more powerful because of their mental development. Okay. So now here what we have to understand is, if you are a human, of course we are humans, if you want to learn the exact color of the exact form of the Deva, we at least should be able to attain the second jhana, otherwise we won't be able to see. We only then talk about Deva through a sutta like this. Okay, Devas are splendiferous, magnanimous and all that, radiant. They should be radiant, right? Abhikantaya ratya, abhikanta vana, we know when the night was past spent, a certain deity who's surpassing splendor. Kevala kappam jetavanan obhasetva. Kevala kappam. Now, jetavana means we know the temple, obhasetva, so illuminating the whole temple. Now, what is kevala and kappa? Any idea? Kevala means the entire temple. So Kevala means entire. Kappa means surrounding. So illuminating the whole temple, surrounding of the whole temple. That means that radiance, that illumination was touching everywhere of the temple, right? Everywhere it was gone to all the places of the temple, that particular radiance. Yena Bhagava Tena Upasanga. And what happened? The particular Deva was approaching the Buddha, right? Wherever the Buddha was staying at that point, he was approaching that particular place. Yena Bhagava Tena. Yena Bhagava Tena. Yena means wherever the Buddha was staying, Tena. That was the place where the Deva was approaching. Upasankami, he attended, he came to that particular place. Upasankamitva, having come to that particular place of the Buddha, Bhagava, Abhivadetva, bowed down, right? So he bowed down. And then Ekamantang Attasi. How did he sit? Did he sit in front of the Buddha? Ekamantang. Now, when the Devas come to see the Bhagava, do they sit in front of the Buddha?
No, at the side.
On a side, as a respect, right? On a side, it's kind of a respect. Sometimes this can be changed in different places. You go and then you respect. Sometimes you come. Some devotees, they don't turn the back towards the statue. They just come, just actually go backward. Like in Thai culture, in Thai culture, they don't actually turn back. Respect, just go backward. I don't know, I mean, this is kind of a little bit cultural, but we don't say that it should be the only way. But especially in this context, the Deva bowed down. Probably he bowed down in front of the Buddha and then stood on one side. Don't know which side, but on one side. Ekamanta. And then what happened? Ekamanta Tita. Now this is interesting. Now in Pali, we have some letters you have to pronounce with aspirate. You know, aspirate? Tita, T. If there's H, you have to have a sort of aspiration, aspiration. T, not T. Tita, Ko. If there is H, there should be an aspirant. Ko, Sadevata. Having stood on one side, or having stood to one side, this particular Deva addressed the Buddha, the Bhagavantam, Gathaya Ajjapansi. So the Deva addressed the Buddha in a verse. Why did the Deva not address the Buddha in a I would say in a prose kind of a way? Why did he actually use the verse? Interesting, huh? In many suttas where we see the Devas come to see the Buddha, Devas always talk to the Buddha in a versified way, in a verse, in a stanza, right? So if you want to engage with the Buddha, especially about the Dhamma matter, to engage with a verse, that's a bit harder because we have to compose the verse first, otherwise we can't say. But Devas normally engage with the verse. In many suttas, if you go to Samyutta Nikaya is one of the section of the Tripitaka, Sutta Pitaka. There's a whole bunch of section called Devata Samyutta, Devaputta Samyutta. And all these suttas have verses actually. Okay, so that's pretty much what happened before the Deva explained the problem. Now we have to go to number 6, I guess. So sorry, page number 7 to see the first verse. Especially this is how the Deva informed the Buddha why he came. So anybody wants to read that stanza? May I ask somebody? Sister Theo, could you give a try?
I'll try. Bahu Deva Manusacha Mangalani Achintayun Akan Kamana
Akan Kamana.
akan kamana. Is it?
Yeah, akankamana. If there's a long A, like above the letter, you have to lengthen. Akankamana. Okay.
Akan kamana.
Yeah, great. Yeah, go ahead.
Sotanam.
Sotanam. See, there's another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sotanam. So I have to drag the A a bit, is it?
Yeah, so you have to lengthen. It's a long A, not like a short A. If there is a kind of a line before, above the particular letter, you have to lengthen it. It's a long A, not a short.
So I have to drag it a bit. Is it?
Yeah.
Sotana. Is that how I pronounce it? Sotana.
Yeah, much better.
Ruhi Mangala Uttaman.
There is another long letter. There's that particular line over the particular letter. Bruhi, not Bruhi. Bruhi Mangala.
Bruhi Mangala Uttaman.
Okay, let me read. Bahu. There's that line. Bahu Deva Manusacha Mangalani Achintayum Akanka Mana Sothanam Bruhi Mangala Muttama. So you get to learn then how to read Pali properly. Because if you don't pronounce Pali, although you have a melodious voice, you are not chanting well. Now we get stuck with the melodious voice and chanting, but not properly pronouncing each letter, right? So that kind of confuses the real meaning, pristine meaning of the sutta. Okay, so let's do that. Bahu Deva. Bahu. What is Bahu in Pali? Bahu means many, plenty, right? Many. Deva. Deva means Deva. Now we have already discussed this word many times up to this point. Deva, deities, many deities. Manusacha, men. Actually, what's the proper way of saying? Manusa is a men, no humans. When you say men, then you are excluding the women. Does men have the woman actually included? You say humans. Many. So one thing to say before we jump into the next, actually, this translation is okay, but not perfect. Okay. So we have to find, because we need something like a framework to talk about this. That's why I'm actually saying this is good to start with, but there are issues. So we have to discuss them. Bahu means many, Deva means deities, and I would say Manusa means humans, not just men. And not even the men talk about the Mangala when the women and others talk about it. Mangalani Achintayum. Achintayum. Achintayum means thought. What Mangala could be. So many deities and men thought what Mangala could be like, right? Not even that, not even they thought about it. Akankamana Sothana. Akankamana Sothana. What is Akankamana? Akankamana means they aspire, they hope, they expect to know what Mangala could be like. Sothana. Now, Sati is another word for Mangala. Have you ever come across this word called Sati in your chanting sessions or other places in temples? Sati?
Like Soti Hotu?
Huh?
Like Soti Hotu, Bhante?
Sati Hotu, Suki Hotu. Sati Hotu? Can you tell me a clear example of like a chanting, part of the chanting where you found out Sati?
Sada Soti Bhavantu something. Got Sada Soti something. Bhante.
Sada Sotti Bhava. You found out something. You don't know where it is, right? Go to the Ratana Sutta where we're going to actually have. Yani, okay, we can find out one. Etena Satchena Suwatti. There's no Sotti. Etena Satcha Vajjena Sottite Hotu Sampada. Sottite. By the blessings of this particular, by the power of this particular saying, may you have the blessings. Sotti. It's another word for Mangala, right? Now, many deities and humans thought about what Mangala could be like. Not even that. They also expect to learn. They expect, I would say, hopeful to learn what Mangala could be. So you have to add some of the meanings here. Akankamana, hopeful. See? Aspire. Let's take the simple one. Hopeful. They are hoping for knowing what Sotti, let's say, blessings are like. Bruhi Mangala Muttama. Bruhi now. Nobody can say to the Buddha, hey, tell me what it is. Please tell us. Please tell me. So we have to add the please courteous part here. Tell us. Mangala Muttama. Uttama Mangala. Please tell us what are the noble or precious Mangala blessings are to us. Or please teach us what the noble Mangalas to us. Okay. Any questions about this stanza or reading the stanza? I think I'm going to start the exact Mangala factors next Friday, so we can discuss the background story only for today, is depending on the time, and probably you may have some questions and all that, and you need to transfer good karmas at the end. So with that time, I probably think that it's good to ask any questions about the background story and this particular stanza.
Bhante, can I understand that so this Mangala Sutta been taught by Buddha in the heavenly plane rather than to the lay people those days in the beginning? Was it really during the heavenly to the devas or with the lay people, devotees?
Now we get that thought just because of the deva approach the Buddha. I think humans were not confident enough to approach the Buddha to ask this question. That's why probably they are more confused about this thing. But devas wanted to know it from somebody who can really tell this actually. So it doesn't mean that it is not subject to humans actually. It is subject to humans, because if you take a look at the 38 blessings, they are the things that are very easy for a human to practice, not for a deva. So I would say, although this was channeled to the Buddha, directed to the Buddha by a deity, the importance of the 38 blessings are more to the humans rather than to the deities. Probably they spearheaded this thing. Humans were so much in trouble, so they sort of broke the ice and then get this explained by the Buddha.
And I notice it's always in the chanting book, Mangala Sutta come first. So this is a very important sutta for lay person to understand, right?
It is. Let me tell you why it is very important for a lay person to understand it, humans to understand it. If you can look at the whole sutta, it is all about how to make our life a blessing. Now, what is the opposite side of the blessing?
Suffering.
Suffering or curse.
Yes.
We have blessings, we have curses. People curse on other people, people bless on other people. If you
Yes.
spend the day, we get both vibes. I think we may get the both in different ways. I don't want to say that somebody's situation in particular. So that's why you approach virtuous people or you chant by yourself. But there are, a lot of times where we get the bad vibes, right? But the most important thing here is for humans is to make their life a blessing. How do they get started? Associating the wise people,
Avoid the fools.
choosing the right person to be in their life. This is the starting. If you miss out on this part, your whole life will be in danger. Be that your partner, be that your work life. Probably you can't choose your work life, but probably people you are with, probably other things, probably everything, almost everything. Where we have a selection, right? So if we make a bad choice on the people who we are with us, that would take us to the curse. You may perhaps blame on the people who came to you, but they came to you because you let them open towards you. You let your door open for them. And if you see the final blessing, I would say it's about Putta Saloka Dhammehi Chittang Yasana Kampati Asokang Virajam Kema, right? So Kema. So Kema means this, I would say, if you can take a look at this particular thing here, I would tell you exactly what it is. Kema means, safety. Safety is very important for us. Now, when you are with somebody, the first thing you expect is the safety, right? Be that a family, be that somebody, be the place where you are. Even the Nibbana is the safest place for us, right? Safest place where we are not navigating in the samsara anymore. Now, if you can take a look at the first blessing and the final blessing, you can see how important these blessings are for us, right? So it's very important for us to understand what they are and then to put them into our life in our different ways. I think we got a question through chat. Can a person give blessings to another, or a monk bless others? Must we work out for our own blessing? All these are ways to get blessings. You can give blessings to somebody. Monastics can bless others, and we have to work out for our own blessing. Now, the answer to the last way of getting blessings is the practice of the 38 blessings. Now, when you go to the temple, you definitely get the blessings of the monastics. That's a very easy way of getting the blessing. It's not easy, but it's easier than working on these 38, right? But I encourage you to, understand what these 38 and then make your life a path of blessings. So if you don't work out on 38 blessings, although you get blessings from a monastic, that would not suffice, be adequate towards your life. Because I think we all are blessed all the time, functions and our events. But if you are not making good friends, wise friends, if you are not working towards different things which you're going to talk about, then we are missing out on those great blessings. So the answer to this question is that these are 3 ways of getting blessings. All are important, but I rather emphasize the last one, because other 2 are, like, let's say you are a parent, you definitely have to bless your kids, right? That's of course happening. Even now it's happening. If you are a spouse, then you give your good thoughts to the other half, right? If you are a teacher, you give your blessings to your students. That's anyways happening. It's happening. It is possible. Monastics definitely bless devotees or whoever come to get their blessing. That's no problem. But the problem is the last one, because not many people think that they have to create their own blessings. If they are expecting somebody to bless them, they are just fine. I'm always getting blessed by the monastic. That's not enough. That's the most important thing. So that's the crust of, that's the most essence of this discussion actually. We have to work out our own blessings. Any other
Bhante,
questions? Yeah.
Brother Lim want to ask, how about is it any different if like the metta and blessing, is it the same thing or two different things?
No, metta is a way to bless. It is a way to bless. Now, when you want to bless, you can use different things. Metta is a way to bless. When you have loving kindness, you can use that loving kindness to do something else for someone. Let's say, metta is not just you thinking, may other people be well, right? Then you have a practice. You're going to help them out. Then that is a blessing. The whole thing is a blessing. What you do can be metta or karuna or mudita or upekka. This whole practice is a blessing. So what comes inside of that could be, I would say, supportives for giving us the blessings. Any other thing that you may have missed out on giving more thoughts, maybe to us, because we are going to directly discussing about, the 38 blessings from the beginning, next Friday onwards. Do you want to ask anything about the Pali reading, or I would say the background story, Mangala Sutta in general?
Bhante, can you clarify what is the difference with sutta and parita?
Sutta and parita. Very good question. Yeah. Actually, parita is a sutta, because what happened was, now, after some time, there were people who expected safety from the sutta. So what happened was that then there was a book created, we call it Paritta chanting. Now, when you say Paritta, the same sutta, some of the suttas have been selected by some of the monks. And then they said, these suttas are more powerful. I don't agree with that, because all the suttas are powerful. But they actually cherry pick a couple of the suttas, Maṅgala, Ti-Ratana, Metta, and all the other suttas, a couple of the suttas. And creating kind of a book called Chatubhana Varapali. This book was actually created in Sri Lanka, I guess in 5th century, Chatubhana Varapali. So the book says that these particular suttas are more powerful. But I take it in this way. I think there are thousands of suttas. Probably the monks or senior monastics wanted to create a handbook out of these many suttas. So they wanted to present a very handy book so people can read these suttas, probably more important ones, right? But what happened at the end was that some thought that this has a more protective power than the other suttas. That is not a good idea. Then you sort of discard the other suttas and you think, oh, these are the protecting suttas. I want the protection. Like the Pure Land, I mean, you're looking for the protection. It's okay. Suttas are not seen to be protection. Suttas are giving us the path to practice. Those who practice have built-in protection, right? They should not seek out the protection. Protection is with the practice, not just by reading a sutta, right? Anybody can read a sutta, right? If you give them the script, right? Or the bad people can also read a sutta. So the thing is that the idea that there are two words called sutta and parita is that Sutta is the original word, but because the book was created at a certain time, it was cherry-picked with some of the suttas and saying that these suttas are more important for our path, but some they turn them into the idea of protection. But Sutta and Paritta, there are no differences. So it's the same idea.
So, Bhante, can I say Paritta is a compilation of suttas?
Yeah.
Compilation? A group of suttas in that Paritta book?
Yes.
Okay.
But
Then
that selection,
yeah.
that selection may have some issues. There may be some important suttas have been dropped. But because of the need of that time, remember when Arahan Mahinda came to Sri Lanka, he gave a very philosophical sutta to the king, called it Chulahatti Padu Sutta from Majjhima Nikaya. But when he addressed the normal folks, he didn't talk about philosophical suttas. He talked about Vimanavattu and Petavattu from the Kuddaka Nikaya. Because people don't understand what is in Vimanavattu and Petavattu. If you offer something, you are reborn in a heaven. So people like to catch up with these things really fast. I'm going to give this thing, I'm going to be reborn in a better place. If I do a small bad thing, I'm going to be reborn in a bad place. So he had to use that. So probably I think Paritta was something that was used to, give a certain other meaning. But Sutta is more important because if you want the real protection, practice what is given in the suttas. That's the most important thing. But on certain occasions, we respect the idea of monks or monastics to chant these suttas and to get the blessing. There's no problem also. But as we read these suttas, we have the responsibility to practice.
Thank you, Bhante.
Any other question? If not, I'm going to the transference of merits part. Okay, I don't think there are more questions. So I think you will have more questions by next week. So take your time. So need to hurry because we always have this discussion on Friday. Okay, so let's reflect upon all the good karmas we've been doing so far. Especially we started with this new Sutta discussion, and today we started this discussion about Mangala Sutta. We could not go beyond the background story, so we only discussed the background story, which has more importance to understanding about what may have happened to utter this sutta. With that, we've been discussing a lot of the aspects of the Mangala blessings and how did Mangala affect, how does Mangala influence to all of us. May all the good karmas we've been accumulating in all these ways be transferred to all the departed people who passed away in the name of all of us, especially the sponsor of this Sutta discussion. Today's Sutta discussion is sponsored by TRV President, Brother Theo Han Chong. Did I pronounce your name properly?
Yes, Bhante.
Okay. Brother Theo Han Chong and family. So may all the people who passed away in the name of you, your family, and all the others who participated in the discussion today, may all your departed relatives who passed away in different lives and in this life be able to receive all these good karmas. If they were reborn in a bad state of life, may they be able to transition or switch to a better life with the receiving of the good karmas that we've been doing today. If they are in a better life already, may they be able to improve their life standards that they need to have. Finally, may they be able to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu,
Sadhu,
sadhu.
sadhu.
Recite the stanzas. Idang mi nyati dang hotu sukhita punyateyo. Idang mi nyati dang hotu sukhita punyateyo. Idang mi nyati dang hotu sukhita punyateyo. Also, let's share all the good karmas with the Devas, Nagas, and the Mahitikas. We have these three terms, Deva, Naga, Mahitika. May all the good karmas that we've been accumulating so far be shared by all the Devas, Nagas, and Mahitikas. May they protect and bless our sponsor family today, TR President, Brother Teo Han Chong and his family. Not even his family and relatives, but also all of you who joined from Malaysia, Indonesia, and all these places. May all your families, family members, all of you be always protected and blessed by the Devas, Nagas, Mahitikas for all the good things you aspire in this life. Especially may you be blessed with good health, safety, prosperity, and all the good things. May the Devas and Nagas and Mahitikas also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu,
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 sadhu, sadhu.
Let's recite the stanzas. Ittavatacha ammihi sambetam punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammihi sambetam punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammihi sambetam punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya. Akasattha ca bhummattha deva naga mahitika punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu sasana. Akasattha ca bhummattha deva naga mahitika punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu desana. Akasattha ca bhummattha deva naga mahitika punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu mang paranti. Finally, let's make a great wish. This is the greatest wish that we've been aspiring, making all the times, especially at the end of any ceremony, kusala activity. May all the good karmas we've been collecting so far be helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And I wanted to thank everybody of you, especially Venerable Kirinde, Ti-Ratana and all the devotees of the temple, Ti-Ratana organization, and all of you for coming in and then participating and learning them, especially with Sutta discussions. And with that in mind, I'm going to bless you with a couple more stanzas. Please receive the blessings. Sabbitiyo vivajjantu sambaru vinasatu mate bhavatmantarayo sukhe dīghāyu bhava bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubhavena sada sukti bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devata sabba dhammanubhavena sada sukti bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devata Sabba sangharubhavena sada sutti bhavantu te nakkattayakka bhutana papaggaha nivarana parittassanubhavena hantu te sang upaddevi devo vassatu khalena sassa sampatti hota ca pito bhavatu lopo ca raja bhavatu dhammiko abhivadana silissa niccang vaddha pachayina Chattaru dhamma vaddhanti ayuvan sukhang bala ayurarogya sampatti sakka sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati saminchato. By the power of the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, may all your sufferings go away. May all your fears go away. May all your sicknesses go away. May you all be blessed with good health, safety, and happiness. Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night, Bhante. Good night.
Hi, Bhante.
Good night,
Thank you,
Bhante.
Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Good night,
Thank you,
Bhante.
Bhante.
Hey, everyone.
Thank you, Bhante.
See you next Friday.
Yes, see you on next Friday.
Thank you very much, Bhante, for the talk. Hope that everyone has a wonderful Sutta discussion and happy learning. Don't forget to join our next Sutta discussion every Friday evening. Thank you very much for watching and have a pleasant night. Sadhu,
Thank
sadhu.
you, Alia, for organizing all.
Night, Bhante.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you, brother.
Good night. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.